If you're trying to play Blitzball with Tidus on a budget, you're going to cut these 10 cards and add these 10 cards.
If you don't have a budget, you're going to want to cut these 10 cards and add these 10 cards.
And you can honestly just stop watching the video right there.
And I have no Final Fantasy reference to give you, but I do have a Final Fantasy deck to give you. On June 8th, we're giving away any Precon on the live stream. So make sure you tune in for that. Join our Discord. Follow the channel. We'll post about it here, but either way, let's get into it. Tidus, Yuna's Guardian. This dude is basically a counter deck's wet dream.
The really interesting thing about Tidus is that more often than not, when I'm building a commander deck, I know whether I want to drop him on curve or not. With this deck, that's going to really depend on your opening hand. You can drop him on turn 3 and get going, or you can set up first and drop him as a payoff.
The deck itself is freaking loaded. It took us forever to figure out what to even add, let alone cut.
There's just so many kind of counters that we needed to consider all of the possibilities when looking at what to build here.
Reluctant Role Model is our first ad. If this is in your opening hand, you are absolutely playing Tidus on turn 3. This acts as a semi-Ozolith while also creating many different types of counters for you to take advantage of with Tidus.
Along the line of a variety of counters, we're playing Agent's Toolkit. This card lives up to its name and offers you exactly the tool you need when you need it. If you can even proliferate once, this ensures that you have every option you need for the rest of the game.
And sticking to toolboxes, Elspeth Resplendent gives us just as many options. She's super versatile in this deck, and that's exactly what you want in a toolkit deck.
Not to mention it's nice to have a Planeswalker around when you're proliferating.
She's pretty too.
Next up is Communal Brewing. Even though you force each opponent to draw one card, this card ensures that each creature you cast comes in with at least 3 1/1 counters.
Why at least?
Because you can proliferate the ingredient counters on this card, which means you are not limited to 3. The sky is the limit.
Arwen Mortal Queen also freaking loves you proliferating. Protection, lifelink counters, 1/1 counters, indestructible counters. She is everything this deck wants.
And what if every counter we had was an indestructible counter? Mutational Advantage gives every creature we have with any kind of counter both hexproof and indestructible till end of turn. It gives us an insane amount of protection, and it's going to proliferate all for 3 mana.
Denry Klin, Editor-in-Chief. Look, I bet you're rolling your eyes at another toolkit card that can give more unique counters to different creatures, but this deck really needs it, and Tidus is suited to take best advantage of cards like this.
It also curves out beautifully. You drop Tidus turn 3, this turn 4, throw a 1/1 or a first strike on Tidus, he can already swing on that turn. He proliferates those counters on himself, and you can start passing anything you want back and forth the turn after that. Zimone Paradox Sculptor is another fantastic turn 4 option. This deck is really starved for cards that are able to put counters on existing creatures the turn you cast it. There's a lot of when ETBs, throw counters on it. There's a lot of if this thing hits, put a counter on it. But we really need cards that have an impact the turn we cast them, and Zimone is perfect for that.
Conclave Sledge Captain is another card that is so good with an already existing board state. The evasion is a huge point for him, and if you're not winning on this swing, you're certainly setting yourself up to win with another.
And the super dope thing about 3 instances of his backup ability is that you can set 3 different creatures up with it, or give one creature 3 individual instances of this power doubling ability.
Is that true?
100% true.
Is that actually true? Hold on. I googled it. It's true. Oh shit.
Our last ad is Warden of the Grove. It's a good thing this thing's a Hydra, because I feel like every head is another beautiful option for how to use this card. It's a setup where it's putting counters on itself and then causing all your other creatures to come in with counters. It's a payoff because you can dump counters onto it, and then all your other creatures enter with a number of 1/1 counters equal to any kind of counter on this creature, or it can start just generating fat tokens out of nowhere.
Simply put, it helps you go wide or tall, and it does not care about what kind of counters are on this thing. We said it before, cutting for this deck was actually difficult, so you might disagree with some of our choices, but let us know in the comments if you do.
Our first 2 cuts are Lord Giskel Guado and Oaka Traveling Merchant. Both of these cards just have a little too much if in them for me. If I put a counter on a creature I control, if I have a counter to remove to draw a card, if I don't, these cards don't do anything.
Our next 4 cuts are Tireless Tracker, Alter Ego, Aron Venerated Guardian, and Sin Unending Cataclysm. I get it, all of these cards have 1/1 counters, and they put them on themselves. Each individually don't represent enough power or board presence for me to care about.
Our next cuts are Inexorable Tide, and Path of Discovery. I actually really like the concept of Path of Discovery. I think Explore is an underrated ability, but these are both high cost, do nothing cards. The turn I play them, not much is happening.
Yuna's Decision is our 9th cut. This is right along the lines of basically do nothing. There is way too much setup for a card like this to have any kind of value, and I hate cards like that.
That's our decision. Our decision is to cut Yuna's Decision. Our last cut to make room for our budget cards is Promise of Loyalty. This deck not only asks you to commit creatures to the board, but invest a whole lot of additional work into those creatures in the form of all the counters that you're managing. So each board wipe has the potential to set you back way more than most other decks.
But to recover from your opponent's board wipes, the Ozolith is our first no budget ad. This is a staple in every counter deck, and there's a damn good reason for it for what we just mentioned.
Our next two ads are Biophagus and Bloom Tender. This deck is going to be hungry for mana, and these are some of the best dorks, especially considering 1/1 counter synergy.
Innkeeper's Talent is going right along with the theme of staple in a counter deck. This card is just too sweet for you to ignore.
I love that a lot of the new counter synergy they're printing doesn't say 1/1. At level 3, this is applying to all kind of counters on all kind of permanents. Our next ad is Court of Garenbrig. Even if you don't maintain Monarchy, you're putting 2 1/1 counters on creatures you control every turn. And if you're able to keep the Monarchy, this card is insane.
Polywog Prodigy also loves those counters. Evolve is just a fun mechanic anyway, but drawing cards is the best thing you can do in Magic, and it is so easy to start drawing cards with Polywog.
2 mana is so efficient for this ability. And on the note of efficiency, we are playing Kodama of the West Tree.
Speaks for itself, right?
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's evasion, it's ramp.
I was gonna say no notes, but then you gave it notes. But yeah, this card is a staple in counter decks. Amazing. Tekuthal Inquiry Dominus is basically the secret commander of this deck. Let alone that you get to proliferate twice, adding an indestructible counter to this ridiculous field is so gross. And Tidus just throws that thing around, throws that booty back.
Our 9th ad is Glenalendra Archmage.
Ain't nothing better than protecting your board, huh?
It's so strong, especially with the counter synergy. You can pull that -1/-1 off, put it onto a creature that's a +1/+1, and you got Glenalendra as many times as you need her.
You're gonna have a pretty tall board. The Great Henge is going to cost you nothing and does everything the deck wants. Any deck wants.
I can't believe this isn't a game changer.
It really freaking should be.
All right, people might accuse us of having no brains when we get to the cuts for the no budget
If you haven't
section.
wanted to comment before, you certainly are going to want to comment after these no budget cuts.
First up, we've got Walking Ballista. I can already hear it. We've seen the videos.
There's a
too.
turn 3 infinite.
We know, but that's so unlikely to happen, and we want to plan around cards that are good every time.
Walking Ballista is objectively best in combo-based decks, not mid-rangey toolkit-based decks. Rampant Rejuvenator and Chasm Skulker are our next 2 cuts.
I love both of these cards.
These were literally the last cards put on here. It was tough, but ultimately this deck A doesn't really care about going wide that much, and B only has 9 basics in it, so a huge Rampant Rejuvenator to take advantage isn't really that appealing. And we're shaving a lot of the top end.
Our next cut, sadly, is Summon Magus Sisters. We think the Saga creatures are super cool for Tidus. Yojimbo, Valifor, Ixion, they're all super playable because Tidus can pull the lore counter off of them. You can get these removals every turn if you want to. Magus Sisters is just so much less consistent when that ability is random.
Bane of Progress is our next cut for the reason that we're trying to keep these enchantment saga creatures around.
We're also cutting Chocobo Knights. I was really interested in this card until the rulings were clarified around Tidus's trigger. No matter how many people you hit, how many times you hit him, or how many clones of Tidus there are, his second ability can only resolve once. And that puts a real damper on cards like this that don't innately offer me any counters.
Scholar of New Horizons is our next cut. I freaking love this card. I'm glad it exists. But I do not want to be removing counters from permanents I control, and I'm playing green. There are better ways to ramp.
Our next cut is Collective Effort. Each of these modes is pretty good, but 3 mana is a little too high of a cost for any of them, and we're not planning to go that wide. So tapping down all our creatures is actually kind of a real cost for this ability.
Our 9th cut is Sunscorch Regent. It's just too high a cost for an effect like this.
This card really shines in life gain decks, which is merely incidental for us. And lastly, Bred for the Hunt. While this card has the potential to offer us a lot of card draw, the unfortunate thing is it also has the potential to do nothing. And I just can't afford cards like that.
Insert Final Fantasy reference here. You can cut these 10 cards and add these 10 cards. I did it backwards.
That's perfect. That's such a good take.
You just told me.
If you're trying to play blitzball on a budget with Tidus, you're gonna cut these 10 cards and add these 10 cards.
Insert Final Fantasy reference here. You're gonna wanna cut these 10. I did it backwards again.
You wanna cross.
Yeah, I do. I wanna start with my right and point left. Whatever.